Hey everyone, I'm Kathy from Kathy Creates, where I try to inspire you to create. Come on into my craft room and we are going to get started, but I forgot to turn on one of my lights. So let's do that real quick. Oh, there it goes. That's better. Okay. All right. So when you get here, say hello. Let me know you're here. And I am going to get us pulled up over here on my screen so I can see comments. Make sure you're commenting for a chance at some happy mail. Let me refresh my page. And I'm going to get us pulled up. And there we are. Okay. So tonight we're doing something a little different. Hey, Miss Tracy. Hello, hello. All right, so tonight I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to make a stand to put hanging crafts on, okay? And so what I'm starting with is this little furniture leg I got from Home Depot. It's 14 inches tall and it was $6 or $7, I think, okay? It's got a screw in the bottom, as you can see. It's got a little detailing to it. I had Bob drill a hole in it. I got this little knob from Hobby Lobby, and we're going to just put that right in there with some glue to hold that on. That's going to be our knob that we're going to hang things off of. Okay, I got this stuff, which I really like. It's this little trim. I also got this from Home Depot, and believe it or not, I was able to cut it with the little Dollar Tree nippers that I used to cut like, oh, my hair is looking very strange tonight, but okay. But I use it to cut like the popsicle sticks and things. Well, it also works for this because this is super thin. Okay, and it came on, I pulled an extra one out because I had gotten 2 of them. So it's about, I would say 3 or 4 feet long, and it was, I think, maybe $4 for this. I did not use the whole piece to do this. Okay, so we've got those. And I already cut those to size. Then I also have a piece of the Dollar Tree tiles that I already cut to size as well. But I'm going to show you a trick with this. Hello, Miss Tracy. Hello, Miss Darla. Welcome, welcome, ladies. Okay, so one of the problems when I was laying this out last night that I came across was that when I laid this down, let me find the longer one. It goes on this side. It didn't lay flat. Let me show you what I'm talking about. See how there's this gap? I figured out a solution. So remember how when I've used these before, and I'm sure when other creators, wow, my hair is bugging me. Okay. When others have used these tiles, that if you use your heat gun on them, they melt. I'm using that to my advantage. If you notice, on this top part, and on this side, it's pretty flat compared to these. See how these are all raised? I just use my heat tool, and then this lays down flat on this. So that is going to be perfect when we get it all glued down. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to finish doing this. I only did 2 sides because I wanted to show you guys how easy this is to do, okay? So I'm just going to take a piece of the scrap that I did not use yet, and I'm just going to lay it down just to kind of prevent from the heat from going too far over. And I'm just going to use my heat tool and go over it. Oh, thank you, Miss Kelly. I appreciate you. I am doing well this afternoon, Grace. And you can watch it start to do its trick. Okay. And we're going to move down here to the center. And back to this end. Hey, Miss Cheryl. Coffee cheers, lady. Okay, so it's curling up a little, so that's fine. We're just going to kind of push it down and hold it for a second. And we have a flat edge that's going to fit nicely with this. I mean, look how easy that was to do. I just took my heat tool, heated that up, and notice how this side isn't straight. It will be. Let's do the same thing on this side. I'm just gonna put this about right there. And it's really cool to watch this happen. Now keep in mind, we are going to paint this. So when we paint it, we need to be careful because when we go to dry it, it's going to do this exact same thing. So you got to keep your distance and you got to keep it moving to dry your paint, or you're going to melt your tile and lose all your design, which is the whole point of using these, is for that gorgeous design. Matter of fact, I got a little too far on that one, but I think we'll be all right. Yeah, see? Okay, so I went over a little too far, and see how that's melting? So nothing I can do about that. So we're just going to leave it and we'll work with it. It'll be fine. Okay. We are making a stand for crafts. That's what we're doing. Okay. So let's go ahead and get this painted first because this is going to take longer to dry. And we need this dry. And again, I can't use the heat tool too much on this or it will melt. So we're going to use our chalk paint because chalk paint, remember, covers your plastics and your metals and your glass so much better than acrylic. Yes, the tile is from the Dollar Tree. I have some extras in my cabinet. I will pull one out here in a minute and show you what they look like because this is cut down. They're like a 12 by 12. So this is going to take a couple of coats to get it covered well. With all those little details, you want to make sure you get in there. Hey, Bonnie. Hello, Patricia. Welcome, welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. So we're going to do this in a farmhouse style. It's all going to be pretty much white, but we're going to have some antiquing on it, of course. Of course, right? Nobody would have doubted that I would do that. So let's get this. I'm going to get one good coat on. And then we will go back. We'll get it dry and then we'll add another coat. Okay, I'm just going to all go the same direction so I get rid of my brush strokes, or as many of them as I can. It's going to have some. Okay. Let's set that aside. Now, I'm going to go way up here. I'm not going to go right down on top of it. And we're going to dry it from afar. It's not too terribly hot from that distance. Because we do not want to get this melting, because we don't want to lose that texture. He's doing pretty good. He's come a long way. He's still got a few little quirks now that we're working with, but he's doing pretty good. Yeah, for those that didn't know, we had to put our beloved little Cooper down. It'll be 2 weeks our Friday. I keep thinking today's Thursday since we don't work on Friday. 2 weeks ago, Friday, we had to put our little sweet Cooper down. Bonnie, you've got a couple of these, but you've never done anything with them. They're fun to do stuff with. I enjoy them a lot. All right, so we're going to do our second coat. And this should do it. We shouldn't have to do a third, but if we do, we do. Sue. Hi, Tessie. Welcome, welcome, ladies. Glad you're here. All right, we almost have this, and I think 2 coats is going to do it. I think that will be good. Now the edges don't have to be great because we are covering our edges with the trim pieces. So I just want to go back through and again work on those brush strokes, try to keep them to a minimum. Okay, I think we're good with this. I can hold this up for you. So we took that. Look how pretty that is. I just love these tiles. When you paint them up, they're just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so we're going to do this whole piece in chalk paint. We're going to get this somewhat dry. Ooh, Family Dollar has them now too, huh? I heard that they bought out, Dollar Tree bought Family Dollar or vice versa, one of the two. So I heard there would be a lot of crossover products, so that's cool to know. I'll get one of these out here in a second. I'll show you all what they look like before they're cut up. At this point, no, Bonnie, we're not. 2 dogs is a lot. And I'm totally okay with only having 1 dog, as long as Teddy adjusts, which so far he's doing okay. And he is adjusting. Like I said, there's still a couple little quirks. He doesn't really like going out by himself to go potty. So, especially when it's dark or in the morning, I think he's scared. So we've been having to go out with him. All right, so this tile is just about dry. So again, we're not getting too close, and we're moving it constantly so that we're not melting our tile. All right. So look how gorgeous that is. And of course, we're going to distress it a little bit because that's what I like to do. Let me grab one of those real quick though. I have some extras right here in my cabinet so I can show you how they come. This is what they look like from Dollar Tree. Actually, I've got 2 of them right here. Okay. So I put the smack dab in the center because I wanted it to be, you know, a center of a tile. I didn't want it to be just the corner because it wasn't exactly a quarter. So I thought that would look weird. So I put it right smack dab in the middle. Okay. So we took that tile, we painted it, and made it into that. All right, so let's set that aside, and we're going to start painting our other elements. So we need to get these painted. It's a new Dollar Tree going in by Costco. I saw that, Karen. I did see that. You know what? I am going to put these on a piece of tape. It's going to be easier to paint these. I'm going to put them on a big piece of tape. Thank you, Bonnie. Yeah, I did that specifically so that it wouldn't look wonky. Technical term there. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to paint these up. I loved these because they have that little bead detailing. So I am going to paint our sides. We'll probably only need 1 coat if I get a good coat on here, since this is chalk paint. Now, I will say I didn't do my miters very well. I should have done them out in the garage on one of the, you know, actual saws, but I didn't. I used those little nippers and it worked. So they're not going to line up exactly perfectly, but you'll get the gist. And we're going to use a combination of wood glue and hot glue to put this together. So we'll have the instant hold of the hot glue and the permanent hold of the wood glue. So if you're local, let me know if you went out to the Lavender Festival this weekend. It was a wonderful event. I saw Miss Karen Nicely. She was there. She stopped by my booth and said hello. It was a very nice event. It's always very well run. The owners of the place, Kylie and, I always get his name wrong, Scott? I think it's Scott. They do such a fabulous job advertising that it's very well attended. And we did very well sales-wise, so it was so nice. All right, we got one more to go. We did great, Tracy. I did cut the trim pieces. I just used my little Dollar Tree nippers for it, to be honest. Would have been a little more precise had I done them in the garage on the saws that we have, but I didn't. I took the easy way out. I'm doing my sides here. Okay. I think that is good on those. I think I got all the little crooks and crevices. Okay, so we have that part done. So let's move those aside. Now we're going to paint the edges of our board because you're not going to see the top because it's going to be completely covered, but you are going to see the ends, the sides. So we are going to paint this. Now this was just a piece of scrap wood. As you can see, it's kind of nicked up right there, but that's going to be the bottom, so it's not going to matter. Now I am going to bring that paint a little onto the top just in case I don't have things lined up perfectly. That way you don't see that raw wood. So I'm just going to do like one brush stroke width on the top. Getting all those little nicks and crevices where it's chewed up a little right there, but again, this is supposed to be a farmhouse piece. It's supposed to look a little dinged up because we're going to antique it a little. So all those little cracks and crevices are perfect. All right, I got one more side to do. This side might be a little tougher to cover because it's got a green stamp from the lumberyard on the end. So we'll see if it covers. We may have to do a second coat to cover that. So far it looks like it's covering, but we'll see. And again, we're doing one stroke there. Just cleaning up my edges. I have excess paint. Okay, and we're going to set this guy aside. Okay. Now we have to paint our leg. This came from Home Depot, and it's considered a table leg actually, or furniture leg is I think what they call them. And it was $7, $8, I think. I can't remember exactly what I paid, but it was somewhere in that ballpark. So we're going to paint this whole guy white. The heat was off the chain, if that's what you're talking about with the festival. It was super hot. I think heat indexes were over 100 both days. It was really hot and humid. Both days. I came home both days and took a shower, and I was taking a cold shower because I was so hot. and I could literally feel the heat coming off my head when I was washing my hair. I was that hot. That part was pretty miserable, but the event itself was fabulous. They can't control the weather, unfortunately. All right, so we've got this top piece painted pretty well, I think. So the beauty of using chalk paint is that it pretty much covers on the first go round usually, because it's a much thicker paint. Rains every afternoon here and then gets hotter and more humid. Yeah, you must be in the South, because I remember that when we lived in Florida. Yes, it did. And there was this sweet little girl that I worked with that was actually from Tennessee, and she had that cute little Southern accent, and she, for whatever reason, she had a little VW Bug that was a convertible. And she would go to lunch every day, and when she'd come back from lunch, she would forget to put the top up on her little VW. And at about 2 o'clock, the sky would open up and just dump. And every day, she's running out to put her top up in the middle of the rain. And it's like, Rhonda, would you just put it up when you come back from lunch? She could not remember that for the life of her. We used to laugh. Okay, so I think we have that part just trying to get rid of some excess paint and some brush strokes. Okay. So all these little nooks and crannies make it a little more difficult to paint, but we can do it. Now, I also bought, they have this in like a, I think it was a 36 inch, 32 inch, something like that. They have a longer one that's meant for like a table, like a full-size table. This is obviously like a coffee table or something. But they had longer ones, and I'm going to make a bigger one for displays in my booth for when we do shows, because I think that would be really cute. I can't wait to see this all together. I think it's going to be really pretty. South Georgia. Okay, yep, that makes sense. Yes, we're going to put a little knob on the top of this and mount it to a base, and it will be a little display that we'll be able to hang door hangers or other hanging crafts on. All right, we're down to just this bottom part. What storm? What's going on, Tracy? Is there a hurricane coming you guys' way again? I haven't been following the weather much the last week or so. All right, I think we're going to dry this top part so I don't have to hold the wet paint and mess it up, the wet paint. So we're going to go around this, make sure we have this cleaned up a little bit. Okay. Let's dry this top part so I have something to hold on to. Hello, Maureen. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, we're almost got everything painted. Then we can start putting this little color together. Tropical wave. I've never heard of that. Okay, this is almost dry, this top part. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I can hold it down here now. And I can paint the bottom half. I've wanted to make one of these for quite a while now, so I'm happy that I'm finally went and bought the things I needed to do it. I found the knobs at Hobby Lobby on clearance. They were 99 cents. I got 3 of them because I plan on making at least 1, maybe 2 more, but larger for my displays for my booth when we do shows. So when I found those, then I was like, okay, this is the sign that it's time to make these. So I thought we'd make the small one on here because you'd be able to see it. The big ones, you're not going to be able to see most of it. It's going to be sticking out everywhere. Okay, I think we are all painted. Let's give this a quick dry. Oh, thank you, Sue. I appreciate the stars so much. It's lesser than a tropical depression. Okay, gotcha. Right? Wouldn't that be great if we could just wiggle our nose and say, voila, it's dry. Time to move on. Okay, I think we're pretty dry. There's a couple wet spots up here. We're going to dry real fast. We need this dry to do the distressing. So now, if you're a person that likes the crisp, clean, new look, then you would leave it just like this. I'm not that person. I like it to be distressed. The tropical wet balloon will begin hitting us tomorrow morning and all day Friday. Oh, stay safe, you guys. Stay safe. All right, so I think we're done with the paint. So let's put my brush in the water, close up our paint, and let's start putting this feller together. Okay. Well, that's not dry. I just stuck my fingers in wet paint. As long as it's not a hurricane, you're okay. Yeah, I don't know how y'all live with that. I would not do well with hurricanes. And I'll tell you what, I'm not digging this heat that we're having already. It is way too hot for Ohio this time of year. This is like late August, September weather, not end of June, beginning of July weather. It has been just ridiculously hot here in Ohio. Get a quick drink. Okay, so next thing we're going to do. I want to make sure I can get this through this easily, and I cannot. And this is going to probably scratch this up. I need to make that hole bigger. Let's see. There we go. This is graduated, so it makes it bigger as I push it through. So that should work. Yep, that works. Okay. If I can get it off now. So I need to glue it down. There we go. Okay. So I did poke my hole in it already, and I lined it up. But I gotta turn it the right way. There we go. So that it lines up with the hole. It's not over my edges. Okay. So I am going to use both wood glue and I'm going to use wood glue and hot glue. I'm so ready for winter, Patricia. I'm almost there, I gotta tell you. I am not digging this heat. I live in Ohio and put up with winter, so I don't have to put up with this heat. And we're putting up with this heat right now, and I don't like it. Okay, I think I got that. There we go. Now, we got to be careful with the hot glue because it will, again, it will melt our tile. So this is why I'm using this hot glue gun and not my big Ryobi. I'm just going to put some throughout. And then which way did I have this lined up? I don't remember. Not that way. Gotta turn it. There we go. And that's a little warm, but it'll be all right. This is a little crooked. There we go. We gotta get our glue strings off the top. Okay. No winters. 80s would be nice year round. Yes, it would. Get hurricanes the past couple of years. I bet not. Kathy, I've been... Oh, I lost your comment, Tracy. I'll have to go back and see it in a second when I'm done here. Okay, so we have that on. And don't worry that it's not lined up perfectly because it doesn't matter because we're going to put those little trim pieces on. Okay, so I'm going to lay these out first to make sure that I have them right because there is a long side and a short side, and then it fits better one way or another because of the way I cut my miters. So, before I start gluing, we're going to place them down and see if we've got them all the right place. Like, let's trade this for this. Yep, I think that's how it goes. Again, my miters aren't perfect, but that's okay. I could have had Bob cut my miters and then they would have been, but I didn't do that. So, okay, that's going to work. All right, so we're going to alternate hot glue and wood glue. And I need another glue stick. I'll turn it. It's not catching. Okay, just burned myself. Got glue everywhere because this one's not. There we go. It wasn't catching in my little thingamabob. Okay, we're just going to hold that down for a second. Now I do have some oozing going on here. Hot glue, so we're going to get rid of that. This is a silicone mat, so it will come off of my mat easily. Okay, I think that's down pretty good. Humidity is bad. Just wait, Tracy. Well, there probably won't be black, but there's going to be some distressing. I'm just going to hold this guy down for a moment. How are we doing? We got 10 minutes. Perfect. I'm sorry it's freezing. FB's up to no good again, huh? Okay, that one's on. We're going to just keep rotating this around and keep doing our pieces here. I'm going to lay this guy down so we can make sure we're lined up. And this is one of those miters that's not great. There's a gap, but that's okay. You have a Lowe's. We have both in our area. They're all over the place, actually, and they're usually pretty close to each other. The ones here in Perrysburg, close to where I live, they're almost across the street from each other. I mean, it's kind of weird that they're so close. Okay, so our base is just about done. We got to distress it yet, but it's put together. Okay, look how pretty that is. I'm not sure you guys can see the detail on that. Yeah, there you go. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that. That in itself is an art piece. If I didn't have the hole in the middle, you could just do that. If you're doing a gallery wall, gosh, that would be gorgeous, wouldn't it? Okay, so we are going to distress a little. We're going to use this walnut stain. I'll pull over a little napkin here. And we're going to use one of our little applicators. And this is going to really pick up the details. We're just doing slightly. I just want to dinge it just a smidge. And it's going to, like I said, over those beaded areas, it's really going to show. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here, just very lightly, just over the detailed part where there's the pattern. Very lightly. Right here's where I got rid of my design because I got a little carried away with the heat gun. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so I just very lightly, you can see a little of it. Yep, there you go. You can see it. Okay, so that part's done. Now, we are going to take on this piece, we're going to take our sanding block and just kind of go over these edges. Just where it's raised, and it's going to give us that nice little distressing look. So basically wherever it's sticking out is where the sander is able to get to it to give it a little distressing. We got 5 minutes. We are almost done. This is going to be perfect timing. Okay, now I am going to still go back with this distressing oxide on this as well. And we're just going to hit it lightly in a couple places. It's just making the distressing stand out a little bit more of what I already did. I always wipe it onto the paper towel because sometimes it gets a little too much on the brush. And it comes on real heavy, and I don't necessarily like that. So I always wipe a little of it off on the paper towel. Okay, you probably can't see that too well, but there's a little bit of it on there. Okay, so now we are going to put a little glue down in this hole. Put a little hot glue in that hole. And I'm going to put a little hot glue on the bottom of this. And we are going to twist this on. Here's our front. I want that turned a little more if I can get it. There we go. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing for our post. And I'm going to put some hot glue. Ooh, that leaked out. Okay. Some hot glue in there, because this, he drilled a little too deep, or not deep, but I lost some glue out the bottom, but that's okay. Just gonna wipe that off so it doesn't stick to the table. And we are done, ladies. Okay, so here it is. Now, this was what I envisioned. Okay. So it can be, these are a little bit big for it. I couldn't find anything handy that was small that I could hang from it. But you get the gist. So it will be something along those lines. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. I love how it turned out. It's very upscaled. It's very farmhouse, shabby chic, I guess would be what I'd call it. And I love that about it. I think it's really pretty. Let me know what you think. Gorgeous, love it, love it. So pretty and easy and relatively inexpensive. I probably have about $12 or $15 total in it between the trim piece, this piece, the tile, you know, and then the scrap wood I already had. Just don't look at my miters. They're not perfect, but you know, you get the gist. But I mean, imagine this. You could dress this up for all the seasons. You could put a, you know, a small stocking could hang off of it at Christmas time. You could hang ornament off of it. You could, all kinds of things. I mean, it's just kind of endless what you could hang on this, but I just got to find something that is a little bit smaller than these door hangers. This is smaller, but it's wide, so I don't know how that would look, but we'll see. Yeah, so something like that even on it is super cute. Okay. Anyway, so that is what I have for you tonight. I'd like to have a bigger one to put at the foot of my front door. Exactly. I'm going to make the bigger one. Bigger one. I'll post pictures when I make it. It's about 3 foot tall, and it will be great next to the front door. I'm going to put it, I'll use it probably in the house, but then when I do shows, I will take it to the shows because I think that would be great. Well, thank you, Judy. I think it's really pretty too. And again, it's a Dollar Tree tile. and the trim piece is, I think, what really, these two pieces, I think, is what really sets it off. So, all right, ladies, my time is up. I'm not sure who's up next, but stick around. I'm sure that they are going to be fabulous. All right, guys, thanks so much. I appreciate you being here with me tonight. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.